All right, we're back. We're back with the with a look at the guy who brought the social commentary to the sitcoms, Norman Milton Lear. I can't deal with this no more. God damn. Fuck. We're going to Washington Post from from yesterday regarding uh this man, Norman Lear. Norman Lear, this guy who had brought the what's it, social commentary? This man brought the social commentary to the sitcoms. Dies at 101 years old. It says Archie Bunker, portrayed by Carol O'Connor, Maud Findlay, portrayed by Beatrice Arthur, and George Jefferson, portrayed by Sherman Hemsley, were among the characters he brought to America's living rooms. Louis Bayard had done the work yesterday morning. Norman Lear, the TV writer and producer who transformed the bland porridge of situation comedy into a zesty flu. What's a flu? A zesty stew of social political strife and brutally funny speech, and who gave the world such embattled comic archetypes as Archie Bunker, Fred Sanford, Maud Findlay, and George Jefferson. Died December 5th at his home in Los Angeles. He was 101. A family spokeswoman, Laura Berchtold, announced the death but did not provide an immediate cause. Mr. Lear's entertainment career spanned the late 1940s to the 21st century, and he also found prominence in later life as a liberal political activist. But his legend was sealed in the 1970s when he created a handful of shows that transformed the television medium into a frighteous town, national town meeting, and showcased the American family and all its hopes and dysfunctions. Racial prejudice, divorce, rape, black inner city struggle, upward social mobility, themes almost non-existent on commercial television were suddenly brought to compelling life through Mr. Lear's juggernaut of hits, including All in the Family, Sanford and Son, Maud, Good Times, The Jeffersons, and One Day at a Time. Far from sermonizing, the shows were master of classes in broad comedy. Their success was undeniably due in large measure to the actors, who brought shadings of empathy to troubled, worried, and often deeply flawed characters. Norman Lear took television away from the pimps, hookers, hustlers, private eyes, junkies, cowboys, and rustlers that constituted television chaos, and in their place, he put the American people, screenwriter Patty Chayefsky once observed, he took the audience and put them on the TV set. By the 1990s, the adult sensibility that Mr. Lear brought to television found a new home in cable drama. You can trace the impact of his shows, The Sopranos, The Shield, The Wire, wherever you have complex characters or questionable morality, said Ron Simon, a curator of the Paley Center for Media in New York. Nothing was ever neatly wrapped in Lear's world. At his professional peak, Mr. Lear had 7 hit sitcoms on the air at one time, and his face recognition was nearly equal to that of his show's stars. He was even a guest host of Saturday Night Live, a 1970s sketch comedy show. It was a heady asset for a jokesmith and screenwriter who toiled for many years in show business. Its second tier, and it all began with an idea nobody at first wanted, an adaptation of the British Broadcasting uh, Company comedy series Till Death Do Us Part, about a working class troglodyte and his long suffering family. His long suffering family. Mr. Lear pitched the idea to ABC in 1969. The network commissioned him to write 2 pilots, but then abandoned the project as too risky. Mickey Rooney, who was Mr. Lear's first thought to play the lead, told him, "You're going to get killed in the streets. They're going to shoot you dead." Undaunted, Mr. Lear took the show to CBS, which was in the market for younger urban viewers. The series, retitled All in the Family, premiered in January 1971 and introduced viewers to a blue-collared bigot named Archie Bunker, portrayed by Carol O'Connor, who berated his angelic wife Edith, portrayed by Jean Stapleton, outraged his activist daughter Gloria, portrayed by Sally Struthers, and heaped injective, not injective, and heaped invective on his pinko Pollock son-in-law Mike, portrayed by Rob Reiner, aka Meathead. This is a picture of Carol O'Connor, Gene Stapleton, and Norman Lear in 1970, where they're on the set of All in the Family, speaking to him. They're speaking to each other in Los Angeles, California. This is from CBS Photo Archive / CBS via Getty Images. Lord of his own semi-attached row house in Queens, New York, Archie Bunker wailed against the prevailing social winds in language that still has the power to shock. In one characteristic exchange from the first episode, Archie snarls, if your spicks and your spades want their rightful share of the American dream, let them get out there and hustle for it. Like I done. I have no people marching and protesting to get me my job. No Edith. No Edith says his uncle got it for him. Archie was the butt of every episode, but thanks in part to Connor's layered performance, he also became a scrappily lovable figure. So much so that some liberal critics accused the show of giving aid and comfort to real-life bigots. Mr. Lear claimed that Mr. Lear claimed that the character was based on his father, Hyman Lear, who regularly told his wife to stifle it, and who called his son the laziest white kid I ever seen. For Mr. Lear told the New York Times, in 1973. My father and I fought all those battles. I thought, my God, if I could only get this kind of thing on American television. Within 5 months of its debut, All in the Family was the number one show in the country. It held that position for 5 years and ran for several years, after that garnering multiple Emmy Awards and making stars of its largely unknown cast. It also gave birth to a dynasty of CBS spin-offs. Maud, from 1972 to 1978, starred Beatrice Arthur as Maud Findlay, a much divorced feminist, firebrand and cousin to Edith Bunker, who was portrayed by Gene Stapleton. Good Times, a 1974-1979 television show, an African American television show that was live and taped before a studio audience, followed the family life of Maud's former housekeeper, Florida Evans, portrayed by the late Esther Rolle, in the Chicago, Illinois housing project, and The Jeffersons, from 1975 to 1985, starring the late Sherman Hemsley and Isabel Sanford. Uptrack the upward mobility of the Bunkers and African American neighbors, George and Louise Jefferson. Mr. Lear also, his hits included NBC's Sanford and Son from 1972 to 1977, based on the British series Steptoe and Son, which starred Red Fox, whose real name was John Elroy Sanford, as a crusty old junk dealer. And the CBS sitcom One Day at a Time from 1975 to 1984, with Bonnie Franklin as a divorced mother struggling to raise two teenage daughters of her own. Under the guise of humor, Mr. Lear managed to destroy some of television's most entrenched taboos. All in the Family was the first series to broadcast the sound of a flushing toilet. His shows address racism, terrorism, impotence, and homosexuality of the above. Edith Bunker was nearly raped by an intruder, and Maud Findlay became the first sitcom heroine to get an abortion. In a two-part episode that prompted pickets and boycott threats. Depending his plots in a 1973 speech to the International Radio and TV Society, the IRTS, Mr. Lear said the so-called adult themes that television is currently dealing in themes for which the American people have always been ready. We in television simply weren't the trusting people to accept or reject as they saw fit. This is the cast members of All in the Family: O'Connor, Stapleton, Reiner, Struthers, and Evans. Well, the three people who are no longer with us today. Let me explain this in an erratic childhood fashion. Norman Milton Lear was born in New Haven, Connecticut on July 27th, 1922. He described his father, a ne'er-do-well salesman, as one of those fellows who was going to have $1 million in 10 days to 2 weeks. The elder Lear's schemes got him sent to prison. For 3 years, the young Norman lived for stretches with relatives and found refuge from his strange family life in radio comics, including Jack Benny and Fred Allen. As a Jew, he said coming across the anti-Semitic radio personality Father Charles E. Coughlin helped awaken him to a strain of right-wing bigotry in American life that he sought to counter his later activism. He won a scholarship to Emerson College in Boston, Massachusetts. He left to serve in the Army Air Forces during the World War II era. As a radio operator and gunner, he flew more than 50 combat missions in the Mediterranean theater. After the war, he moved to Los Angeles and worked as a door-to-door furniture salesman and sidewalk photographer to earn extra money. He and a friend, Ed Simmons, began writing comedy skits. Operating on what he later called sheer determination and a lot of gall, Mr. Lear made a blind phone call to comedian Danny Thomas, who had done commercials for a hospital that was named after him, offering and around time he passed away, they had a new commercial that was for a hospital that was named after Danny Thomas. His daughter Marlo Thomas had done a commercial just for the sake of her late father. But offering to write a routine for Thomas's appearance that night at Cyro's, a nightclub on the Sunset Strip. How long will it run? Thomas asked. How long do you need? Mr. Lear shot back. The 7-minute routine Mr. Lear delivered caught the attention of Agent David Susskind, who signed him as a writer for the NBC variety show Ford Star Review. Mr. Lear went on to craft jokes for the team of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, they're no longer with us today, as well as for entertainers including Martha Ray and George Gobel. This is Norman Lear in a scooter. He's driving a scooter. This is where these two came. This is Norman Lear in the picture with actress Rita Moreno. Well, that's why they ran off together in a scooter. It's a mobility scooter. After forming Tandem Productions with director Alan Bud Yorkin in 1959, Mr. Lear gravitated toward feature films, writing the screenplays for Come Blow Your Horn, Divorce American Style, The Night They Raided Minsky's, and Cold Turkey. Later, Mr. Lear served as producer of such popular films as The Princess Bride and Fried Green Tomatoes. But his fame, wealth derived largely from his work on the small screen. Mr. Lear created his most famous shows for the big networks, but CBS networks turned down his pilot for the soap opera satire Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. He flew independent television executives to his home in Brentwood, California, and pitched the show to them. In January of 1976, the show premiered on nearly 100 stations across the country, and it won a devoted following. It spawned 2 talk show parodies featuring Martin Mull and Fred Willard. Fred Wood Tonight and America Tonight. CBS would later air Mary Hartman in late-night reruns. His touch wasn't always golden. The controversial Hot One Baltimore, whose characters included prostitutes, and one of TV's first gay couples was canceled after 13 episodes. All's Fair, The Nancy Walker Show, All That Glitters, and a year at the top, White Lies flopped. As for All in the Family, it became Archie Bunker's place. In 1979, it carried through 1983, but it launched without Struthers and Reiner. And after the first season, Stapleton 2 was gone. Mr. Lear would never again have a hit show despite comeback vehicles such as AKA Pablo and Sunday Dinner. This is Lear with Will Connor and Stapleton and none other than Mort Lackman and Rob Reiner and Rob Reiner. Okay, entering the civic arena, by then his energies had, had been diverted into a new arena. In 1980, alarmed by the growing political clout of the moral majority, he founded the People for the American Way, and a liberal advocacy group aimed at preserving the separation of church and state. In short order, the group had 200,000 members and a $5 million budget and a hard-working publicity machine that generated op-eds, public service announcements, and media appearances. Mr. Lear's group helped defeat Robert H. Bork's 1987 nomination to the Supreme Court, United States Supreme Court, and Mr. Lear has become a prominent spokesman for the Hollywood's progressive wing. The Reverend Jerry Falwell, founder of the Moral Majority. The Moral Majority, in a letter to supporters, was moved to label him the greatest enemy of the American family in our generation. Mr. Lear, for his part, called the religious right a well-financed, highly coordinated, computerized campaign, not just to preach their faith and their politics, which they have every right to do, but to impose their political and moral beliefs on the rest of us. In 2000, Mr. Lear bought one of the few extant original copies of the Declaration of Independence for $8 million and sent it on a cross-country exhibition. He also started campaigns to encourage young voters to promote citizen action, and he became a regular blogger for the Huffington Post. The Huffington Post. Mr. Lear's personal life made headlines in 1987 after he divorced his second wife, Frances Loeb Lear, who was a producer, an outspoken lecturer and scholar who was widely believed to be the model for Maud Findlay, portrayed by Beatrice Arthur. Mr. Lear's first marriage to Charlotte Rosen had also ended in divorce. The resulting settlement, estimated at about $112 million, was enough to knock Mr. Lear off Forbes magazine list of the 400 richest Americans, but it gave Francis Lear the seed capital to found Lear's a magazine aimed at women 35 and older. The magazine folded after 6 years until she died of breast cancer in 1996. With his third wife, a known psychologist by the name of Lynn Davis, Lear. Mr. Lear owned multi-million-dollar properties and added to his already vast collection of contemporary paintings and sculpture to those who argued that his lavish lifestyle was at odds with his left-wing politics. His response was simple. I never claimed to be Mother Teresa, only Norman Lear. In addition to his wife, survivors included a daughter from his first marriage, Ellen, two daughters from his second marriage, Kate and Maggie, three children from his third marriage, Ben, Madeline, and Brianna, and four grandchildren. His later years, Mr. Lear what's it say? Let me go back. I fucked around this. He was the voice of Chris Blatchford by mistake. In his later years, Mr. Lear did for In his later years, Mr. Lear did his best to plug into the zeitgeist. He attended Foo Fighters and Red Hot Chili Peppers concerts. He rescued Concord Records, a foundering jazz label. He brainstormed with a writing staff of South Park, whose pint-sized bigot, Eric Cartman, could be Archie Bunker's, who could be Archie Bunker's great-grandson. Mr. Lear, a recipient of the 2017 Kennedy Center Honors, was asked whether shows like All the Family could be a force for social change. If a couple thousand years of Judeo-Christian ethnic have not solved the problems of bigotry and narrow-mindedness, he replied, I'd be a fool to think a little half-hour situation comedy is gonna do the trick. He remained proud of his television legacy. Let me read this again. But he remained proud of his television legacy. It seems to me that the bulk of what we've done is a celebration of family. They're all families that hang together. They all love one another. They go through the ordeal of life, but they come out on the other side of that ordeal connected together. Damn. Fuck, I fucked around doing voice announce work. Oh shit. Shit. That's a fucking problem I did not know. There's Los Angeles Times too. Well, that's all you see here. Oh damn. All these people are dead. The fuck? All these fucking people are dead. All these motherfuckers are dead, man. Denny Lane, he died at 79. Rousseff died at 65. Oh, fuck. It burns me the hell up. And another one from Los Angeles Times here. It says Norman Lear, who revolutionized primetime TV with All in the Family, dies. There's a photo of Lear along with his reputation as a prolific television producer. Norman Lear earned praise and condemnation as a television trailblazer whose sitcoms toppled taboos in their treatment of then controversial topics such as LGBTQ, plus rights, abortion, and infidelity. Norman Lear, the multiple Emmy Award winning writer, producer, and liberal political activist who revolutionized primetime television in the 1970s with groundbreaking socially relevant situation comedies such as All in the Family, Maude and the Jeffersons, has died. He was 101. Oh, that's enough for me. Shit. That fucking ruined my ordeal. That fucking ruined my chance to go through this thing. That busted my credibility, man. Okay, this December 9th. Okay. Saturday, I'm gonna take a day off. I'm be on my day off on Saturday. I'm gonna do a live show based on Red Fox. On Saturday morning. I'm gonna go get up Saturday morning and do a live show based on the late John Elroy Sanford. You know him very well. Is comedian and actor Red Fox. There's some pictures of him right here. There's a picture of him. This is before he would get into TV. He was into the music thing long before that, and then he got into a lawsuit with Duto Records and all this over some shit. But this already became more noticeable. In the game, I mean, it's sad though. But Norman Lear was like a legend in the game. He brought that social commentary to the TV shows that's been around since the '70s. That that involves bigotry, racial overtones, prejudice, and all that shit. I didn't never know that. But but again, I already did a live show based on him. I had to go do a Wikipedia thing based on him earlier. That was for like damn near 2 hours. But again, this other live show is a look at Norman Lear. But remember, in memoriam, but rest in peace. You know what I mean? I mean, to Norman Milton Lear. You know what I mean? July 22nd, not July 22nd, July 27th, 1922, December 5th, 2023. We'll see you guys back on Saturday morning for the birthday celebration of Red Fox. And that's what I'm gonna tell you about this guy, man. We'll see you guys, I go make sure nothing else gonna happen. That's why I said I'm gonna see you guys on Saturday morning when I get up. And it's gonna be the birthday celebration of uh American comedian and actor Red Fox. I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys on Saturday. Peace. I'm out. I'm gonna see y'all on Saturday. I'm gone. I'll start. I'm gonna end the stream so I don't even have to be on live in that period. I'll be on live on Saturday. Don't worry, my stream will stop immediately and I will no longer be live.